predict the score, ladies and gentlemen. Michigan, Alabama, Citrus Bowl, January 1st, 1 p.m. from Orlando. A game that some of you didn't want to even see happen. A game I thought Michigan was lose-lose, but with most Alabama players playing outside of a couple of defenders, there's a potential win out there for Michigan, which is beating a nearly full-strength Crimson Tide football team. So predict the score. We are live with our Michigan football rumors surrounding the bowl game and going to a live Q&A. Michigan Football Report getting started right now. Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. We are live. Get your questions in the live chat. I'll be answering questions later in the show. If you're watching this later on in the week, our Michigan Football Rumors Roundup. We are just a little bit less than 10 days or so away from the bowl game. I want to talk, starting today's show, about Don Brown. Hear a lot of rumblings that the bowl game will decide Don Brown's future. Given this one, 3 Harbaugh heads. You all know what that means. Pretty likely. So I want to take a dive a little bit deeper into the story, let you know what I've been hearing from my sources, who everyone knows are the best sources, probably in all of sports, pertaining to one Midwest college football team. So, as you see on the screen, 59 points per game versus Ohio State the last 2 years. I was told shortly after the game that going into the game, Don Brown felt, maybe even all season long, that his future with this program was going to be decided, whether he was going to be the long-term DC for the rest of Harbaugh's future or potentially under scrutiny, could be decided how the team fared against a powerhouse Ohio State offense with a Heisman Trophy candidate. Justin Fields came in number 3, and of course Chase Young was on the other side, but then J.K. Dobbins. So, on this story, went in there thinking his job was kind of on the line. Michigan needed to get over the hump against Ohio State. Clearly didn't happen, right? Clearly did not happen. And what's been happening since then is Jim Harbaugh coming into the defensive staff meetings, maybe the coaching staff altogether meetings, and just pounding into the head of the defensive coaches how important a win versus Alabama is, but also how important not getting embarrassed by another top 5 or 6 program in the country that's figured it out on offense with a backup quarterback who wasn't very highly rated himself, not like he was a 5-star like Tua. So 3 Harbaugh heads on this one. If Michigan gives up 45-plus points to a Mac Jones led offense with great skill position players, great running backs, pretty good offensive linemen, maybe a couple first-rounders there, Don Brown could be retiring or being closer to family with a new job on the West Coast. So that's the rumor today. 3 Harbaugh heads on that one. Got some coaching shirts on sale that I want to make sure you guys were checking out. If you order today, folks, you can still get them delivered by Christmas Eve. Wrap them up, put them under the tree. This Michigan coaching shirt, usually like $70, is under $50, 30% off. One of my favorite purchases this year. Or this half-off Michigan football jacket. You buy that for a brother, a dad, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever. You are making somebody's year, giving them an awesome Michigan football jacket to wear to games all winter long into next fall, or all Michigan football items. We've got hats, we've got jerseys, we've got T-shirts, etc. From our merchandise partner, chatsports.com/blue. I've got my community team putting that in the comments section right now. Chatsports.com/blue. Hundreds of items still can get delivered by Tuesday. Select the right shipping option. Hundreds of Michigan gear. A lot of Nike, a lot of Jordan stuff in there. Up to 50% off. Let's keep going with Don Brown. Here's the evidence, folks. Here's all the evidence you need to understand where Don Brown is and should be when thinking about his future with the Michigan football program. Giving up 572 yards per game the last 2 times he's taken the field against Ohio State. 354 yards passing. I'll repeat myself. 354 yards passing. And by the way, Justin Fields only had like 302 this year, so gave up 400 plus to Dwayne Haskins last year. Almost 220 on the ground. We saw J.K. Dobbins absolutely eviscerate Michigan this year. Much worse than they did as a team last year. Much better than the team last year than Ohio State did, but still piling on offense, rushing, passing, and of course points. 62 and 56 points, completely unacceptable. Let's take a look at Don Brown's 4 years as Michigan's defensive coordinator against Ohio State. 330 yards, 30 points, 350, 31 points, and then something happened, right? Something happened with the Ohio State program. They figured Don Brown out, or he just forgot how to coach against them. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I don't know what happened a couple years ago, why all of a sudden Don Brown's defense went from keeping Ohio State relatively in check to being completely overwhelmed, completely outmanned, and completely embarrassed by the Buckeyes the last 2 seasons. So those are the stats here, but I want to ask you guys this question. Thinking ahead to the bowl game, will Don Brown be the defensive coordinator for Michigan in 2020? That's next season, folks. See you next decade, right? That's kind of the word that people are saying these days right now. If you're not going to see somebody until after January 1st, we might not see Don Brown back on the Michigan football sideline. So type Y if yes, type N if no. Will Don Brown be Michigan's defensive coordinator going into next season? We've got an ad break coming up, which I completely missed. If you're seeing an ad break right now on YouTube, go down. I'll pin the comment right below in the comment section or answer in the live chat, and then I'll come back to the video right now. All right, we are continuing on Michigan football rumors. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. You see the subscribe link going into the comments, the live comments right now. Thanks so much for watching. Unprompted show here on a Sunday. We started out with the Don Brown rumors. We're going into some Nick Eubanks and some offensive rumors. So if you haven't yet subscribed, if it's your first time watching the show potentially, get live in the comment section, use that hashtag Michigan, and make sure to click right below the video, subscribe, or you see the link in the live chat to subscribe to the channel. Next rumor up, Nick Eubanks. Is he going to the NFL? I was surprised this is even a thing to talk about, but apparently it's 2 Harbaugh heads, what I'm hearing, that it's 50-50, it's a rumor, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities that this could happen. And I was like, what? Nick Eubanks leaving early for the NFL. What would he be thinking? Why would he be doing that? And there potentially, from what I'm hearing, is some validity to it that obviously we all know Nick Eubanks, a 2016 recruit, had a really nice start to 2017, first game or two, then got hurt and didn't come back, and kind of struggled to find his way back into Michigan's offense. Never really shook the Sean McCune for the starting role. They kind of split the role. Told reporters in the last couple of days he's looking into NFL options, which caught me off guard. Reached out to some folks, and hearing that much like last season when Michigan had a tight end leave early for the NFL after 4 years, could have come back for a 5th year, is that Nick Eubanks is looking for a 5th round grade or better and is willing to try his hand in the NFL and not come back to Michigan for 2020. So 23 catches for 229 yards. About 10 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns in 2019. Now, some people out there will say, well, James, Nick Eubanks has the kind of athleticism and the body type and the upside that football teams will take a chance on. We saw Antonio Gates, all kinds of players, tight ends in the NFL who barely even played football, or basketball guys, and became stars. So why couldn't Nick Eubanks, who's been playing at a high-level university under a known tight end, coaching guru in Jim Harbaugh, why couldn't he go and make a splash? Well, I'm just saying it's got to come down to him. If he could have a better senior year where he's maybe the more featured option from a tight end perspective, then he can come back in 2020, double those numbers, and what happens if he has a really nice year? Can it go up to the 3rd round, go up in the 2nd round? A lot more money that'll come to his pocket early in his career. I think the difference, and I don't have these numbers in front of me, but the difference between a 2nd round pick and a 5th round pick, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars over the first 3 or 4 years of your career. And if you stick around after that in the NFL, you might be able to get a big contract. But those early dollars really can make a difference when you're talking about college football players going to the NFL. So keep an eye on this one. I'm kind of leaning towards, like last year what we did with Zach Gentry. I'm like, no way Gentry will leave. And as it kind of went forward, it seemed more and more likely. And of course, he ended up leaving for the pros. So keep an eye on Nick Eubanks, which is Michigan's backup tight end in a lot of ways, not even the starter, heading to the NFL. So that is the story on that one, giving it 2 Harbaugh heads. Let's take a look at the betting odds updated right now through Sunday, 3:54 p.m. Eastern. These are the latest on the ticker. Got them in my ear. So some money coming in on Alabama, more than Michigan, but the Wolverines are 7.5-point underdogs. Over under 58, if you're not familiar, the combined scores of the two teams, about 29 points each is what that breaks down to. And if you think they're going to score more, think they're going to score less, you can place money on the over-under or who will win the game. And if you're going to do it, Do it with our Bet Sportsbook partner, BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet is the link. Promo code GoBlue. Say 120% deposit bonus. To break that down for you, you put in $100, you have an extra $120. You put in $200, an extra $240. All the way up to $500, you have an extra $600 sitting there in your account to bet on. Makes it easier to get started, lose a couple bets, you're still not down any money above there. So chatsports.com/bet, promo code GoBlue to get the deposit with BetDSI. Michigan's had a really great passing performance over the last 3 games, 3 straight passing performances that, you're not going to call Shea Patterson against Ohio State great because he was 18 of 43, but he started out great. The numbers were okay in a lot of ways, but 3 straight games over 300 yards from Michigan never happened before in the history of the program, as crazy as that is to think in 2019. But I'm hearing that Michigan thinks with the offensive player, with the defensive player sitting out for Alabama, that they've got a better chance of winning the game by airing it out. And I'm hearing that 50 passing attempts is potential out there. So giving it 2 Harbaugh heads, 50-50, it's a rumor. People are talking, as we've coined the phrase, but the game plan going into this game is to pass until they make us not pass at all. We'll toss those Harbaugh head rumor meters up on the screen. If you haven't watched before, you know what they have. 0 Harbaugh heads. Totally false. Fake news. Probably something Sam Webb's putting out to sell subscriptions. All the way up to 4 Harbaugh heads. FACK. Fact. Which is the term that Jim Harbaugh coined, misspelling the word fact. We've got this one. 2 Harbaugh heads. People are talking. Take a look at the Michigan offense. Take a look at what they've done good, what they've done poorly this year. Those numbers have continued to improve throughout the 2019 season. The last 3 games certainly have improved quite drastically, actually, throughout the last quarter of the season. Michigan's offense in rushing, Michigan's offense in total and scoring, and obviously in passing have all gone up consistently. Now they're going up against an Alabama defense that not as great and as historic as some of the defenses have been over the last decade plus, but still a top 10 defense against the pass. So they're losing. They're going to be without one of their better players, All-American level cornerback. But going up against the top 10 pass defense, if Michigan's going to air it out, they better come with a game plan that can do some damage. Because Shea Patterson's had a nice year, a decent year. Second half of the year, much better than the first half, but still only 2,800 yards, folks. I don't have these numbers in front of me, but last year Shea didn't even finish in the top 40 in passing yards in the entire country. Not much higher than this year, 22 touchdowns. This is not the LSU or this is not a Clemson Ohio State aerial attack that Michigan has. But the last 3 games, we'll toss it up, just under 60%, or right at 60%, a little below 60%. I have to do the math in my head. 59% passing, but over 1,000 yards, almost 1,100, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, as I've said. Gone over 300 yards 3 straight games. Had a 5-touchdown game in there, a 4-touchdown game in there, and then 1 touchdown only against the Ohio State Buckeyes. So that is the word on the offense from the perspective of what the game plan is going into this bowl matchup with kind of a full-strength Alabama. So we've got our Michigan football Q&A live here on YouTube coming up in just a moment. So use that hashtag Michigan to get your question on the show.